Hey everyone, happy Wednesday, August 2nd. Welcome back to the Plant-Based Morning Show. This is our second episode in a row after a good, must have been 2.5 weeks off with none. And I was browsing through the Discord today. That's nomeatathlete.com/Discord, where I know it's called No Meat Athlete, but really it's the Plant-Based Morning Show Discord. That there was a lot of people in there saying, hope you enjoyed your break. Please don't ever do this again. And, thank God we have podcasts back again. So I was very touched. I think it's a very nice thing that people said that. As I've always said, if people notice when you don't show up, it's usually a good sign, at least by my metrics. Doug, how's it going today?
Matt, welcome. It is Wednesday. Happy hump day. You haven't been talking about the days of the week yet.
No, I haven't.
You're still a little off, I guess.
Still kind of am. Not really. Yeah, these weeks don't feel like normal weeks to me because I'm sick and traveling still and all this. So, yeah, haven't got into my rhythm with talking about the intricacies of the days of the week. But anyway, it's Wednesday, it's hump day. People like that. Yeah, so what's up? We got this quiz we want to get into really quickly, but it's not that quick. Because there was very little in the way of content. Like yesterday, I kind of noticed it when I was planning after all this time off, and I was thinking there's gonna be so many articles and things, and I'm not gonna be able to, we're gonna be backlogged. And it really wasn't that hard. We had a lengthy weather report yesterday, but it was not that much stuff. And today has confirmed that the theory that like the vegan world must have just shut down for a little while because there's nothing. So we got a couple articles still. It's not like we won't have a good content today, but we don't have a weather report. We don't have a bunch of quick bullets to get through. So we're going to talk about this funny quiz that our friend Jessica made up instead. But before we do that, anything going on in your world, Doug? Taco Tuesday yesterday. Did you enjoy that?
No, my dad and stepmom were in town and they cooked for us last night. So no tacos. It was a delicious curry that with potato and broccoli curry. It was very nice. It was very good.
Was it like awkward when they served it? Like everyone in your family was like, "Why aren't they giving us tacos? It's Tuesday."
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely.
And you pretended like it was good and everything, but it was.
Yeah. It's like, how do they not know it's Tuesday? No. It was delicious. Maybe we'll have tacos tonight. Maybe we'll mix it up, do something crazy and have tacos on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. Chances are I would have had tacos anyway or some form of them. So this will be perfect.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, I am making paella tonight, despite being under the weather. It's my dad. We're here for my dad's birthday week. He's turning 70. So we're just trying to do some fun things in the evenings. And tonight is paella night. So Aaron just went and got the ingredients. Today I got to get to make it. But hopefully I'll hang in there. I don't know. I'm just a little under the weather. Won't have my normal wine consumption with the paella.
What is in paella?
What is in paella? It's mainly bamba rice. That's like the main rice that it is, which I like arborio, kind of like risotto would be made from. Saffron makes it yellow. Paprikas add some flavor, sweet and spicy. And then kind of whatever you want. We just make a vegetable paella, obviously. And that would have like artichokes, mushrooms. The secret to me is dried porcini mushrooms. They add a nice kind of meaty flavor to it all. We put vegan meat in there, Whole Foods brand vegan chicken stuff. Red peppers, tomatoes, just all kinds of good vegetables. Honestly, whatever you want. Green beans, asparagus, any of those, whatever you feel like putting in there. But then other people, like my dad, will make shrimp and scallops that he will put on his at the end.
That sounds great.
Kate correctly points out that the best part of paella is the crust on the bottom. That is true, and that is the art of making paella, is to get that crust on the bottom without burning it. I think it's called the socorat in Catalan. I'm not sure about that for sure. But anyway, I haven't quite mastered it. But that's you gotta get that, or else it's not paella. It's just garbage.
This is a bit of a stretch connection, but but paella for some reason made me think of Jose Andreas, who is we talk about a little bit because his restaurant has the cultivated meat.
Right. Yep.
And I follow him on Instagram, and he was doing a thing where he was talking about peeling strawberries. You ever heard of this?
No, never. Peeling strawberries.
Basically, his take is that it's the most delightful thing for your lips. Food for your lips imaginable.
Okay. And I guess that's because then you don't have the seeds and all that, the rough part of the strawberry.
Yeah, you just take off the seeds. Yeah, just like very, very thinly peel the strawberry. And it made me really want to try it. So I'm
I
going
would
to
have
do that.
thought that's all. I would have thought that's where all the flavor resided in the strawberry, in the surface. Because like if you get to the white part, that can't be very flavorful.
No, like I'm talking about just the tip of the skin,
Just the
right?
berry. Right. Okay.
All
right.
Very, very thin covering, and so you got all the juices up underneath there. I bet it's delicious.
Right. Yeah. Well, give it a try. See what you think, and let us know, please.
You know what else? Sorry, this is kind of a random show here, but air fryer. I have some air fryer news.
Okay. Good.
I air fried basil the other night, and it was absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah.
To put over top of, we were making. It was just I'm gonna mispronounce it. Yonki.
There you
right?
go. You got it.
Okay, Yoki.
Gnocchi.
Put it over top of that, and it was so good.
Yeah. And why did you air fry? Like I've never seen anyone regular fry basil. You usually just
I don't know. It just kind of dawned on me. We had a bunch of basil, and I was like, it'd be nice if it was like crispy. And sure enough, it was great.
And it was actually good. Wow. Well.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to give that a try then.
You should. I lightly coated it in oil, just like ever so slightly, and a little bit of salt, and then air fried it, and man, it was delicious.
All right, I'll give it a try, wouldn't it? Sounds odd, but why not? All right. I usually want to know if paella is like the Spanish version of jambalaya. I guess that's possible. I think jambalaya is a little bit more of just like a big pot. You just stir it up. It's a big mess. The paella, you got to be careful. You don't stir it once the rice is in. And then you get that crust very delicately on the bottom. So I feel like it's a little more delicate in execution. But I don't really know. And it's not spicy or anything. It's just man, a little bit of spice, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's
shout out to Bailey Zane, first live show. Thanks for being a listener, joining live.
Really? I see Bailey Zane's name all the time. I wonder why this is her first.
The Discord, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
And then a plant-based space says over on Instagram that our taco night never seems to fall on Tuesday, so that's our joke too about when taco night. So
yeah, glad
to know there's other people having taco.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, let's get to this thing really quickly. I, to my delight, saw that while I was away, I forget where I was at that point, but I saw that my friend Jessica Goodenough, whose podcast I was on a long time ago, kind of shortly after the No Meat or the Plant-Based Athlete book came out, she had me on, which was very nice. But she put the unofficial "Are you more Matt or Doug?" quiz. She put that in our Discord, and it's 5 questions long. Very, very well done, I must say. We'll go over those questions quickly, and then Mr. Jeffrey has added 5 more. I think it's 5 he added, so that now you can score your percentage. Just multiply by 10, and you get your percentage. Admittedly, this is a little self-indulgent to kind of go into this quiz right here, but mainly I'm doing it to promote the Discord so people understand what fun goes on over there. But I think it's pretty good. So have you pulled it up?
I'm pulling it up here on the channel too, so you can.
Okay.
If you're watching, follow.
We'll move quickly. And then there was some talk of turning this into a Google Doc or something, so we could actually start to tabulate the results. But anyway, so here we go. So there's 2 options for each question. One of them is you. One of them is me. She didn't randomize that or anything. So once you catch on, you might be able to bias your results. But we could randomize it in the Google Doc version. Okay, here we go. First things first. Which is best? A, the great outdoors, or B, the great indoors?
Great indoors is an oxymoron, in my opinion. So.
No, that's false. That's offensive to me that you say that. It discriminates against me. Pick a workout. A couple pull-ups and a hilly trail run, followed by a quick splash in the creek. B, something with kettlebells and barbells. She didn't take the opportunity to like poke any fun there, Doug. Like a couple poor pull-ups or anything like that.
A couple pull-ups with bands to help you because you can't do a pull-up.
Assisted pull-ups. All right. Can you name any songs by Billie Eilish? A, yes, start singing along to the wrong song. B, no, I don't know any of the popular songs right now. So that's a good one. Number 4, what word comes to mind when you think of cycling? Exciting, it's a different way of being in nature, or dangerous? Hard pass on that one. It should be illegal, really, is what I would put there as B.
Should be illegal. Also, I was a little disappointed. Hard pass wasn't part of one of my my answers.
I saw that. I thought that's actually more of a Doug phrase than mine. Dinner time. What would you rather? A buffet of tacos, burritos, and corn chips, or B, a homemade traditional Italian meal? Very accurate description, I think, of our cookings.
Yep.
Anyway, so Jessica ended there. She said she was 40% Doug, 60% Matt, and then so that was good. I thought, wow, I'm the people's champion here. And then Lindsay chimed in and said, I'm 80%
Oh wait,
Matt.
hold on here. What makes one person's?
Well, she was the creator of the quiz. I don't know. I figured that
Okay, all right.
mattered.
All right.
Well, then the next person, Lindsay M, chimed in and said, I'm 80% Matt, 20% Doug. So I thought, okay, this is good. The truth is prevailing. It's going to finally come out who's right here. But then Mr. Jeffrey added, and this is a little bit of a bias, really, that he added these, because he later says he's 100% Doug, except for one thing, the Billie Eilish question. So he added these more. So to me, this may be biases because he's putting more pro Doug, ones that are easier to pick the Doug answer.
But Jessica was more pro Matt, so
maybe. So all right, here we go.
Yeah, keep going with the last 5 here.
Ideal vacation: fast packing for 3 days through the mountains with no reception, or vegan cruise with no oil to be found anywhere. See, that's not fair. That's totally not what I would say is my ideal vacation. But it's one I've been on. If you could only listen to one podcast ever again, what would it be? Something to keep lighthearted and mindless, like Smartless, or be something for self-improvement, like Rich Roll or Tim Ferriss? Good, fair enough.
Here, have I ever mentioned Smartless on this podcast? How does Jeffrey,
I don't know.
Mr. Jeffrey, know that I listen to Smartless?
I have no idea, because you're him basically, and he just knows. I don't think I'm like a big Rich Roll or Tim Ferriss fanboy, by the way. I do think they're good.
Yeah, I mean, you're a pretty big fanboy of Tim Ferriss. You used to be.
I'd say I used to be, yeah. And then I kind of stopped being. Recently, actually, a little bit rediscovered my interest in that.
But anyway. I think that's accurate, though. The lighthearted,
for sure,
mindless, or self-improvement.
Yeah, that's right. All right, 8, favorite sport to watch. A, disc golf, or B, soccer, but we call it football. There, accurate. 9, how was your sleep? A, fine. Sometimes I'm in bed late or up early, but overall no complaints. B, I have tried literally everything and nothing helps. Too much late night peanut butter in college. Yep, that is exactly right. And 10, bears. Whatever, just keep your distance. Or B, hell no. By the way, I saw a family of bears this morning, and they were very nice to watch. Kept a safe distance from inside the house, and enjoyed seeing the cubs and the mom. By the way, also there was. I know you know about this bear attack that just happened in Nashville, right?
Yeah, with the runner.
Yeah, and someone who I think sounded like they were pretty experienced with bears, and just turned around the corner, and they were right there.
Found himself in between the mama and cubs, and didn't realize the cub was behind him, and so he was just trying to distract from the mama. Didn't work out.
Even I, a non-experienced trail person, know that if you're turning a corner in an area where bears are, you make a bunch of noise before you do anything like that. You scuffle your feet, yell, sing, whatever. So I blame the user on that one.
I don't know. It was very sad, very unfortunate.
But he was fine, right? The guy's okay. He said he's not going to stop him again.
Gashed up, had some facial surgery, I think, but he's fine.
Yeah, good. All right, so there you go. So anyway, after those, then it started pouring in a 90% Doug from Three Amigos NJ, 90% Doug from Law Dog. Jessica went to 70% Matt. So even you made up some ground there on Jessica once Jeffrey added his questions. Jay Joe says I'm 70% Doug, 30% Matt. So even Bianca, who I always connect with, 80% Doug, 20% Matt. Would be 100% Doug, except I don't know any Billie Eilish songs. Oh, the new questions made are 50-50. So that actually went against you, the new question.
Yeah, that went against me, yeah.
All right. So anyway, Helen DG says 50-50 perfect hybrid. I like that. Judy, 90% Doug. So anyway, the people have sided with Doug after.
It's a pretty good mix. When I saw these questions, I was like, definitely more people are going to be Doug than Matt. It's a good even mix. Yeah. Yeah,
it is good. It's very even. I think if you're, yeah. I mean, when I saw them, I thought, well, how would anyone ever pick the Doug answers? Like they're not appealing way of living, but no, people did.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way that anyone thinks that the indoors are great, right? Like Matt has to be the only person to think that, but I guess not.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Jeffrey says, to be fair, I was 100% Doug before adding mine. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Steven listens to Smartless more than Tim Ferriss. Yeah, I would have guessed that actually about Steven. I'd like to know where Steven falls on this thing. I could see him as a 50-50.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I could too.
All right. Anything else? Not too much. Aisha approves of the air frying of basil, and that's good. All right. Anne-Marie's 50-50 as well. Good. Fun times. Thank you for doing that. That is really fun. It really made me happy to see that. Jessica. And Mr. Jeffrey too. All right. So like I said, no weather report today. We do have some articles though. We got the one that we didn't get time to get to yesterday. And then we've got another one about cultivated meat that I think is kind of interesting. But first though, this is all over the place. We had it yesterday. I kind of just let it go because I didn't want to get into one of these New York Post thing of like what they do, the anti-vegan ways. Anyway, but this woman, Zana Dart, did you know her before this recent news?
I did not. No.
I didn't know, but it's like yesterday it was just a little bit in the news. Today it's all over the place. So I figured we better, and I asked you about it. We said, yeah, we better at least mention this. So she has died, sadly, at age 39 of, the headlines will say suspected starvation, and they're all about, vegan raw food diet influencer dies of suspected starvation. You look at the pictures, she looks extremely thin. Today I'm seeing a few more articles that are saying she had an eating disorder, I think anorexia, and some more pointing out that I don't know what the official criteria are for dying of starvation, but in the same article that said she died of starvation, they also said they think she died of a cholera infection that her body weight and her eating habits did not help her fight off. So I don't understand if that's truly dying of starvation or not. I guess maybe many of the starvation deaths are actually something else that comes in and kills you when your weight or whatever doesn't help you. I don't really know, but anyway, very sad. Obviously, I don't want to be respectful for that. But it just seemed like worth mentioning. I don't know. I hate that I think the reason I didn't want to get to it really is I'm just so sick of this thing where she ate fruits, vegetables, and seeds, I think, and maybe fruit smoothies and juices. It came out today in one of the articles I saw that she had not drank water in 6 years. Instead, she got her water from fruits and vegetables or their juices. She did dry fasting sometimes, which is where you don't even have water during fast. So, this is not a vegan diet, right? This is an extreme diet.
She had done just done, I think, a 7-day durian challenge, or not challenge, but like where she
durian, that food,
durian fruit. Like the problem. So there's two problems here, right? There's one is the narrative that she died because of her vegan diet, right? Or that vegan makes people starve, right? Vegan equals starvation. That's a problem. The other problem is that this woman, from what I can read in these articles, I didn't follow her, so it's hard to make judgments. But from what I'm reading in these articles, pretty clearly had some issues. And if she's influencing other people to eat this way, eat in a non-healthy way, that's kind of the unfortunate side effect of platforming, or how anyone can be platformed, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. If you look at pictures of her, and I assume these are recent pictures, I don't really know. She looks so thin that you just have to wonder, who would look at that and say, that's a healthy person, I should follow that person and take their advice. But then I think there's probably people with very, very different perceptions of what is healthy than I have. When they look at people and they think that, if I could get to that, look like that, or even if I don't, that's sort of the standard I can, that's my gold standard. So yeah, you're right. That is a big problem. And hopefully most people, were aware that something more was going on here. But anyway, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's very sad. I hate to make it all about just the media's response and all that.
Right.
But it's just a bummer. Yeah. She had a very, very much an eating disorder, and I don't know. Yeah. So she traveled all around Asia, ate fruit. Like a lot of these fruitarians tend to go there because you can get really good fruit there. And yeah, I guess it just got worse and worse. So anyway, too bad, but wanted to give it a mention. All right. On to what we did not get to yesterday. Also, the other one we didn't get to. And that's an article from plantbasednews.org, which says calling plant-based food vegan makes fewer people choose it, study finds. And then the subtitle, could a move away from vegan labels make plant-based foods more mainstream? This is interesting. This is like, we talk a lot about labeling of foods, but usually it's in a legal sense and what is allowed or not. In this case, it's about what will make people choose something. And I think it's kind of, I don't know, it puts vegans in a strange place. It definitely highlights the fact that people don't really necessarily envy us vegans or strive to be like us. What they tested, there was an event in, I don't know, UK, I think, where they had two options on the menu: either a Greek salad wrap, which had some feta cheese in it, and all the ingredients are all listed. So tomato, red onion, cucumbers, hot peppers, feta cheese, calamari, olives, greens, fresh oregano, and Greek dressing. And it was positioned next to a hummus wrap that could be called veggie hummus wrap and then in parentheses vegan, or in the other version of the menu, they called it just veggie hummus wrap. And then they list all the ingredients, and it's hummus, greens, tomato, shredded carrot, red onion, roasted red peppers, etc. Just a bunch of vegan things, no cheese. And so the question here isn't, at first I was thinking, well, that's not fair. Like, they can make one sound better than the other, but it doesn't matter which one they want. In both cases, people chose, no, sorry, that's not right. In one of the cases, people chose that more often than the Greek salad wrap. So in the one when it was marked as vegan, 36% of people chose the veggie hummus wrap, parentheses vegan. When it wasn't labeled, 60.7% chose it. And then in the second study, when they sort of redid all this, 33.9 chose it the first time when it was marked vegan, 63.8 chose it when it wasn't marked vegan. So what it means is that if you want people to eat more vegan food for reasons aside from giving them the thing they most want or whatever, just like you have other reasons, whether it's I think environmental is the angle they're going with here, but whatever, maybe it's lower cost or whatever. You shouldn't call it vegan. That's what they're saying. You should be willing to list out the ingredients and have them be vegan, even compared next to something with cheese in it. It still has the potential of winning, but just don't say vegan with it. And they didn't talk about putting plant-based instead. I don't know if that would fare too much better, although I have heard still that people are preferring that term over vegan when they shop. So basically, it's, if we want people to be more vegan, just don't say that it's vegan.
Just don't call it vegan.
Yeah, which might be what New York City's doing with their default option thing. Like, I doubt they're saying vegan bowl. They're probably just listing all the things in it.
I mean, this kind of makes sense, right? If you see something called vegan and you're not a vegan, and you like cheese or whatever, and you see that it's called vegan, you're like, like before you even read the ingredients,
right?
See if it sounds good. You're like, no, that's not for me. But if you're just like reading all the ingredients and reading, that these, comparing these two veggie wraps or these two wraps, like one might sound, the vegan one might sound better, and you'll choose it. And like, I think it makes a ton of sense. The unfortunate thing is I don't really want to delete all the vegan labels because it makes my life a hell of a lot easier,
they're helpful for vegans. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're really helpful for vegans. So like, you could just put it on the back and then you have to always check. But yeah, that is the problem there. But I mean, the vast majority of people aren't vegan. So if we're trying to actually change behaviors on a large scale, we don't really matter. But yeah, I get it. And I think it's a good point though. Like, to me, if I'm not on a diet, let's say I just eat regular diet like everybody else, not on any specific thing. If I see that something is, that diet approved, even like Whole30 or whatever, I'm probably not going to pick it. Or if I see gluten-free or halal or kosher, like, I don't even know what these things mean. But if I see them, part of it's going to say, this is not for me. This is some other thing, especially if there's like an ideological thing with it, like I think there is with halal and kosher, and certainly with vegan. A little bit of a turnoff to me to say, like, I'm gonna pick this ideological food when I don't necessarily believe in that or know what it even is. So I do understand why that would be the case. It's still surprising. I'm surprised no one's noticed this before. But I don't know. I mean, and what do we do? I don't really know. Do we stop calling things vegan?
I don't think so. I think we kind of have to keep calling vegan. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we do. Maybe we do quit calling. Like, what would the world look like if we did that? If everything was just kind of as it was, like, maybe that wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah. Don't label things. No labels. Buddhism.
No labels.
Just take things as they are. Don't judge. Yeah. I don't know. Don't know where we go with that. But anyway, that's that one. All right, and the last thing to get to today, unless there's more, you have anyone have opinions here, Doug, that we need to talk about?
No, no one's chiming in. But I would like to know what other people think there. Is it better
Yeah.
to do no labels, make it harder for vegans, or label it for us because we like things being easy for us, but get fewer people to eat it?
Yes, that is the question, and that actually goes right
Are
into
you
our next
willing?
article.
That's a good philosophical question. Are you willing to sacrifice,
Of course, yeah. I mean, I
ease
would
for
be.
yourself for the betterment of the world, or do you want it to all be about you?
I would 100% be happier to have to look harder, even if it meant I made a mistake occasionally. If it meant that people were choosing twice as often the vegan option in whatever context, I'd be happy to work harder for it. And I think that's the whole point of being vegan is, well, one of the points is, so the thing that but most advances that I think is probably the right move.
Mr. Jeffrey says halal and kosher are process changes, and vegan is ingredients. So I feel like no vegan label is a lot easier.
Yeah, right. It'd be easier to remove that, and you just wouldn't. You could infer that it is vegan. You couldn't necessarily do that with halal or kosher.
Yeah. Steven says I haven't seen the status. I haven't seen the stats, but over here I would have thought adding the vegan would make it more appealing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We've talked about that many times. This study was at MIT actually, so it was conducted in the United States. Okay, so it wasn't over there. So that kind of fits that story. That we might see different results if you did this in Europe than here.
Kate Rivercrat and A Plant-Based Space on Instagram both say they want to read the ingredients anyway. So
yeah, that's the thing, right? We're gonna check it out anyway, probably. Stephen is 70% Doug and 30% Matt. That's the real headline here, and that's disappointing to me.
Attaboy. Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump over to the next one, which is the final one for the day. I don't know if we'll get done early. If so, it's fine. Just because I'm not feeling that good. But
you don't sound great.
No.
Actually, I think it's like you're too close to me being an Asheville right now. I'm getting sick too.
Go to the doctor. I've been Googling when do you go to the doctor for a cough or cold. It's been almost 2 weeks. And 2 weeks seems to be the time when you do go to the doctor. So probably give it one more day. And then
I support that, man. I know you're not. Yeah. I know you don't like going to the doctor, but I support that.
Yeah, right. I don't want to get additional infections and things, or have them discover something that turns out I have to go through invasive procedures and then deal with difficult decisions when it would have been better not to know. Plus, I'm a doctor. I can just diagnose myself.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, how come you haven't called me? No, not a doctor.
Not a doctor. I'm not really a doctor. I must say that. All right. All right, here we go. This is the last one. I seem to have lost it. Okay, this is like an opinion piece. It was on Veg Economist. The headline is guest post, vegans beware the great cultivated meat swindle. And when I saw that, I thought, I almost didn't read it because I thought it was going to be someone saying, like what Miyoko said a couple weeks ago, where she came out and said, look, why do we care about this thing? It's not vegan. They're hurting animals. There's all this hidden stuff, and it's really not what we want. And I didn't like hearing that. I chose to sort of ignore that. Anyway, this is not that. This is a good point, and something we talked about the other day. They start by pointing out that which I guess is a vegan, not vegan, I think it's a British publication, revealed in March this year that it had uncovered meat labeled as British in supermarkets, which was actually from South America. Doesn't seem like too huge of a deal, but then in 2014, they discovered over a third of 60 lamb curries and kebabs that they bought in London and Birmingham contained other meats. There was a scandal in 2013 where meat sold as beef contained 29% horse meat, and in fish and chip shops, 36% they found during some huge study were mislabeled, exposing seafood fraud on a global scale. Of course, you got the olive oil stuff where you can't ever really get that, legit unless you go to great lengths. So they're basically saying, and we did talk about this one day, that there's basically no reason why this is not going to happen with cultivated meat, because the product itself is going to be indistinguishable when it's in its final form served to the customer. So they're saying, what's going to prevent the bad actors from coming in and, just, I guess 100% just swapping, not even like replacing part of it, because it doesn't work that way. These are whole cut meats usually, maybe in ground beef it's different. But what's going to prevent them from just doing fraud on a major scale? And then that means for people who are vegan, and this, by the way, the article where they point out these things about that the chickens, that the team at Eat Just, which is behind Good Meat, has declared that the cells used to make cultivated meat can be taken from a feather or from an egg. For lamb meat, the cells can be harvested from wool. And they claim they collected animal cells by waiting for a feather to naturally fall from a chicken named Ian, and that the nuggets were produced from Ian cells were later eaten outside while Ian roamed around nearby. I don't know why they go into that stupid detail. But anyway, the point is, I think the article is making the point. This stuff is really getting close to cruelty-free, 100% cruelty-free. Right now, to me, there is a negligible, I mean, you can safely, in my opinion, ignore the amount of cruelty that currently is involved in this process. There's the whole growth medium issue that used to be calves' blood, but now it's very close to being free from any animal-derived product. It's getting way cheaper. That's partly why they're, so aggressively pursuing a different growth medium. But like, they're removing cruelty from this process, and I think we're not going to have any sort of ethical dilemma here as whether to eat this as vegans or not. But this thing about fraud does introduce that dilemma, right? Because if there's a 10% chance that the meat you're served when you think you're ordering cultivated meat is regular meat, that's enough to make it seem like that's not really a vegan choice to order that thing.
Right. And so to me, it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Mm-hmm. I can see this happening much more in a restaurant than I could at the grocery store, right? Right. In a restaurant, beef is going to be cheaper. Ground beef is going to be cheaper from a cow, at least for now, than it is from a cultivated version. And you could see how easily a restaurant might just, add a little bit of, kind of combine them to thin it out, or when they run out of the cultivated meat, just run to the grocery store and grab some, cow meat or whatever. Right. And I mean, you can see how that would happen, and you would never know. I don't think, at least for now, my guess is that these companies are going to be so protective of labeling their meat, and there's going to be so fewer, like with like using chicken, for example, you have all the chicken growers, and then you have all the slaughterhouses, which may or may not be, the actual brands slaughterhouses, and then that meat's going to be sent to all these packaging places, like all these different steps to the process where you can see it, like some stuff combining in other ways and right. being mislabeled. I don't think that's going to happen, at least anytime soon, with like the just people, right? Because it's going to be so controlled, and they're going to have it's going to be their cultivated meat, right? Just like it's an Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger. Yeah, it's going to be their version of the cultivated meat, and so I don't think that's going to necessarily happen at the grocery store, but I can totally see it happening at a restaurant, and that is troubling. Yeah.
So the author proposes two sort of solutions. One is kind of what you said, that if we really limit the amount of companies who are able to sell this, like if they just stop approving new ones, then there's less likely that you're going to have, just the fraud happening, I would think. Whereas if you've got 100 companies doing it, it's very easy to imagine some of them might make a lot of their money by being fraudulent. So that's one way. The other way they suggested, which I don't really like this one, they said maybe the cultivated meat could be distinguished by taste because, here we're making something in a different process than the way it's usually made. So that means we can do things that aren't ever done, such as mixing in mango proteins or lemongrass and things that are delicious in a way that slaughtered meat could never compete with. It's hard for me to imagine that one being the one that works, unless they make it so good and like, not with extra flavors, but like you make it so tasty of a cut of meat that if it's the real thing compared to this cultivated, you're going to notice that it's not as good as the cultivated. Mm-hmm. So you got those solutions. But yeah, I mean, I really do think this is a major problem. Like as I've said before, I would totally eat cultivated meat, assuming I'm not going to do it if it's grown in cow blood. But if it's if they get that so that it's totally animal-free serum, then I don't have a problem eating this. But if I thought that a decent percentage of the time I'd get something that wasn't, it's not that even if it's indistinguishable. So I don't really care if I end up eating the actual animal. It doesn't matter to me what I end up eating. What matters is when I make that choice, I am choosing X% of the time that I'm eating real animals. And then that becomes a problem. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say I don't care is because if it is truly indistinguishable when it arrives on my plate, like, and what goes in my body is the same thing, it just suffered or didn't, like, of course that matters, but it doesn't matter like, I don't know how to explain it better, but like what I'm saying is if there's a fixed percentage we can estimate a percentage that this much of the time, whether or not you actually, roll the dice luckily or not and keep getting the goods, if a fixed amount of the time or a known amount of time or an estimated amount of time you're ordering real meat, that's a problem.
Totally, because then you're making the decision not to. Then you're making the
Exactly.
decision that it's okay that 80% of the time I order
Right.
this, or 20% of the time.
Yeah, so then you might as well be at 20% of the time not vegan, and that's
Right.
you know, for me, I don't want to do that, so that's it. But if, let's say, then vegans were out because everyone said, well, I can't do this because most or some of the time it's going to be real meat. You know, then it just, I guess, would become something. I'm so happy to have people order it because hopefully more often than not they're getting cultivated meat. But you know, we'd aim then to reduce that number as much as possible. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any amazing innovative thought or breakthrough ideas here. But interesting question. Hadn't thought of this before.
Yeah. Do you think Jose Andres is swapping out the cultivated chicken for
maybe in his paella? Maybe. Doubt it. Probably not yet.
I doubt it.
I did see a few. I saw a few reviews of it, very, very surface level. But people said if you didn't know better, you couldn't tell the difference or whatever. So didn't really say anything interesting. But people are ordering it, I guess. And it doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't seem like it's like quite the big deal that I thought it would be. I thought it would be much bigger news 3 or 4 weeks into this thing. But not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well,
nobody's died from it yet, so
that's good. That is very good.
I mean, that would make it big news. Bad joke.
There's also the opposite side, which is people like who. What happens if cultivated meat becomes, for whatever reasons, for subsidies or whatever else, becomes eventually cheaper than the real thing. Then you're going to have meat connoisseurs types who are getting fraudulent real meat. People are inserting this eco-friendly, you know, eventually cheaper
to produce. Wouldn't that be funny?
It would. The joke would be on them then, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Might happen. Distant future.
Yeah. Then would you support it? Then would you support this the fraudulent
No, that'd be the same as supporting people go in and, you know, vegans go in and ruin a business that is non-vegan, which I do not support that. All right, that's it. I gotta go. I'm not doing great here, so we will wrap it up a little early today. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be back again. We'll see. Anything else, Doug?
Go to the doctor, man.
I might have to do that. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Uh-oh. Been passed through the mic. All right. Anyways,
beware. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, everyone. Sorry I'm a little under the weather. We'll be back tomorrow, assuming I stay good. And that is it. Enjoy your Wednesday. We will see you on Thursday.
Bye. Had to get that thumbnail.